Okay.
Yeah.
So which version of Java have you worked on?
So currently we are using 11, but I have hands-on with 8.
Okay. And in terms of database, like which database have you worked on?
Yeah, so we are using AWS DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database. It is like a document DB, and it has like partition key and sort key as the primary and secondary keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you let's go into Java. So can you provide some what are the new features in Java 8?
Yeah. So in Java 8, like functional programming was introduced, wherein lambdas came into picture, and streams and collections were having like collections was having a new stream API, which helped in manipulating the data in a more concise and shorter way. And also there was changes into the files API, and so because we are using lambdas, so the functional interfaces also come into picture, wherein without creating any instance we can pass in the implementation body directly toward another function. So with Java 8, functional programming was introduced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in functional interface, like what's the use of this functional interface annotation?
Yeah, so functional interface will have only one abstract method, and whenever we instantiate it, we can directly call its sub method without creating any object, and also we can pass in the different parameters to that method.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you used the annotation functional interface?
No, actually, I haven't used it, but I know like we can directly, for example, I'm having a property loader interface. So, and in that we have only one single method like load property. So I can directly write like property loader dot apply, and then I can call the like loader method.
Okay. So consider you want to insert some value in a table using a Spring Boot application.
Yeah.
So what are the different classes that you will create and different annotations that you will use?
Mhm. Yeah. So I will create a REST controller class which will be having all my API mappings. Like, for example, we are inserting a data, so I will be using the post method for like inserting the data, and the request mapping will be having the request parameters which will be coming from the JSON body from the post method. And I will create one repository class and also some entity classes for my like database table. And in my repository class I will be dealing with the database connection and also the insertion of data, and I can also like implement error handling using the exception handling annotation, and I can add the configuration in my application.properties for my database connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the configurations that you add for database?
Uh,
You can
so
mention please.
so in case
Yeah.
of, let's say for example, I'm connecting to a MySQL database, so I will be adding the connection string, the MySQL driver, the username and the password. Yeah.
Okay. So can you configure configurations for multiple database in a single Spring Boot app?
Yeah, we can do that. So we can like add a prefix to our database configuration file, and we can do that.
Okay. And any changes in the Java file for us, if
Yeah.
that's the
So
config.
we can like create two different repository classes, and we can give the custom like annotation, like custom uh, like configuration annotation for those, and we can do that.
Okay. Do you know the annotations that could be used for that?
um I think it is configuration annotation which we'll be using, and we will be passing the configuration name.
Okay. So if we want to create a custom query, Like what changes would you have to do? Like custom coding using GPA.
in the JPA. No, actually, I'm not sure because I haven't worked on the Hibernate framework most of the times. So, because we are using the NoSQL database, so queries don't come into picture. But I'm sure like JPA has some inbuilt methods for like, for example, find by ID and find by a particular attribute. So we can create our own queries as well, but I'm not sure about the mechanism.
Okay. And what are the different dependencies that is used for a Spring Boot application?
Yeah, so Spring Boot Starter Web will be used, and in case if you want to add security, though Spring Boot security, and in case if you want to add some health check related or logging related configuration, so we can use Spring Boot actuators. So they will help in like checking the health of our application and also help in the logging and monitoring of our applications. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between method overriding and method overloading?
Yeah, so method overloading means like one same method. Like there are two different methods, but the signature of them is different and the method name is same. For example, I have a method named as user get user, and in that first one I have like one integer parameter which is the ID, and I have second method which is get user, and in that I'm passing string that will be the username. So the method name is same in this case, but the parameters are different. So this is method overloading. And in method overriding, like the method name and the signature, everything is same, but the method, these two methods are in different classes. One will be in the parent class and one will be in the child class. So in the child
Okay.
class, whenever we like give the implementation, we actually override the actual implementation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can a static method be overridden?
Static method, no, cannot be overridden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, have you created immutable class anytime? Any immutable class?
No, I haven't created, but I am sure like for each method, the return type will be the same class. Like we do it in the string. So each action, whenever it's performed, so string returns its own reference, like same class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what are the different features of an immutable class? So, like, how does it stand out? Madhu?
So immutable class, it will like for each action, the class is again created and the new reference for that particular class is given, and the reference to the old class is like dismissed. But yeah, this is the main feature of a immutable class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you know some examples of other uh, immutable clauses apart from string?
Apart from string, no, actually I think we can use that in the builder design pattern as well, wherein we are while building a object we can like call multiple methods on the same object, and at the end return a new object with all the new methods, all the new attributes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what is upcasting and downcasting?
Upcasting and downcasting, I think it is related to the type in which we create our object. For example, I am instantiating a array list, so we usually do it like we give pass the reference of parent which is list. So parent list is equals to new array list, and whenever we directly write array list is equals to new array list, so these are the two ways we can instantiate it. But whenever we are creating object from our parent class, so in future we can instantiate again, reinstantiate it with the different child class, so we don't have to reinitialize our variable.
Okay. Um, so what is exception handling and its types?
Exception handling in a framework, you mean to say?
Yeah, like exception, the how it is handled in Java, exception handling, and what are its different types?
Yeah. So exception is usually handled using the try catch block, and also we can pass in the exception name in the method signature. And there are different types. There are two types mainly of exception. One is checked exception, like whenever our compiler is expecting that a method should have a exception in the method signature, so that is a checked exception. For example, when I'm creating an instance of a file, so it will not compile because file will implicitly throw a file not found exception if it is not there. So file not found is a checked exception. And in case uh, there is another exception known as unchecked exceptions. So null pointer exception is an example, it is a runtime exception and it is not halting our code from getting compiled, and it is more usually occurring at the runtime whenever a null reference to a variable is given.
Okay. Um, so